Hey, over here. Look at me. I'm a pickle. I'm Pickle Rick. Hey, this is just a stream here. I'm starting a fresh career, and I'm gonna go from nothing to a ship that can get around the moon and return back to Kerbin. Just for grins. So if anybody's just learning, come along and join in the fun. So we're gonna start out right here. We're gonna go over to the mission control. Exploration says, let's see, all available. Launch our first rocket. So starting out, we can only have 2 contracts, so we'll launch our first rocket and gather information from Kerbal. So we'll grab that one and we'll grab that one. Okay, come out here. Let's go back to the VAB, Vehicle Assembly Building, and build our first ship. So, first ship's pretty straightforward. We only have 2 kinds of capsules. So we'll need a capsule. I have only one parts mod installed here, and that's a real chute. So that's where you're seeing the second parachute, but I'm going to stick with stock parts for this little stream. So, see, we don't have a heat shield yet. We don't have any decouplers yet. So, our only option is going to be, we have no fuel tanks even. So all we have is this one little booster called the Flea. The Flea has dry mass just under half a ton, thrust in atmosphere is 162 kilonewtons. Okay, we don't have to worry about vacuum because we're going to get nowhere close to it. Now, I have a mod in here that's not a parts mod, so I just consider it a helper mod, and it's easier than going over here and checking to see that my thrust to rate ratio is almost 7 to 1. So I don't need that much thrust coming off the ground because I'll turn into a flying meteor by the time I'm 100 feet in the air. So I'm going to reduce this thrust, and as you see, it's up here as well. Now it's giving me a higher thrust up here because I'm in vacuum mode. If I click this to atmosphere, you'll see it'll drop down to 6.89, similar to what the game is predicting. Not exactly the same, but close enough. So, in vacuum, I want this thrust to be around 1.33. So I do that by right-clicking on the engine here and taking this thrust limiter and pulling it down, way down, way down. You see my delta V is not really changing. I'm going to get just as high if I start out with a lower thrust, like 1.38 is fine. I'm still going to have 927 delta V. I'm just going to burn longer to get there, 52 seconds to get to apoapsis rather than whatever it was with the higher rating. So we've got that set. Do we have anything else we can put on here? Do we have any science? We do have science. I have this thing called the goo pod here. So let's put 3 of those on. Back. I'm going to press the X key. Go to 3-way. Now your 3-way symmetry will look different. It's going to be look like a radiation pattern. I have this. It's another mod that gives me a little bit more control when I'm adding things in the VAB. But anyway, I want 3 of these. So let's pop 3 of them on. Make sure I don't block the cabin, the hatch. Can't AVA yet anyway, but I want to make sure I'm very close to covering that. But anyway, so this way when I get on the pad, I'll be able to take a goo pod reading on the ground, And then once I launch, when I'm a little ways off the ground, I'll take another one. And when I'm at the very top of my apoapsis, I'll take a third one. So I'll get 3 science reports on the way up. These things are for this engineering, Kerbal Engineering Redux, so I can get information while I'm out at the launch pad. So I'm going to stick one of these on, just to have one. And then I'm going to hit Shift and X, and it will reduce the number of things I put on. So now there's 2 on, only one of those on back there. Okay, so here's our first ship that we have to launch it off the launch pad. So we'll go to the launch pad. And we'll use the science we collect from this ship to upgrade to get more parts. Okay, when I'm on the pad, I'm going to press T to turn on stability assist. I'm going to press Z to go to full throttle, although it doesn't matter because this is an SRB and it's either 100% on or 100% off. There's no throttle control, right? But I can click the capsule here now and I can take a crew report, right? And then I'll click this and I'll do an EVA and I'll take that crew report. Click on the ship again and I'll take data. See it? That takes that report and stores it on the astronaut. And while I'm on EVA out here, I'll do an EVA report on the pad. Take that. And then I'll click the capsule again and I'll say, okay, there's no put data, or there's store data, so I'll do store data. On the outside of the capsule again. Okay. Actually, I'm going to take the data. You know, when I go inside the ship, it'll automatically store it. So if I hit F, can't do a surface report yet. So that's all we can do on the pad here. So I'm going to hit F to B to go back in the ship. And I'm going to take one of these GUI reports. I'll take the one back here. Observe the mystery GUI. Keep it. Okay, and then I'm going to take this GUI pod. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to pin it. I'm going to put it up here. And I'm going to click this GUI pod. I'm going to pin it. And we'll take it up here. That so on the way up, I can take some more reports as we go up, and I can turn this trajectory thing off. You don't need to see that. That's another mod that helps show me where I'm gonna land. Oh, interesting. Okay, it's a bug. It won't let me close it. Okay, this is a bug. I can't close it, so all I can do is pull it over here out of the way. Just pretend it's not there. All right, we're ready to launch. So, 3, 2, 1. Spacebar. See, because we thrust limited us to just over 1, we don't come flying off the pad at some crazy speed. So while I'm on my way up, I'll observe the GUI. Flying increment, so okay, let's take that. Click on the cancel. We'll do another crew report. Take that as we're going up. Okay, we're just about out of fuel here. Okay, now we're just coasting up. Click this bottom button and we can see that our apoapsis is going to be about 50,000, so oh, 5,000. So I'm at the top now, so we'll come over here, observe the GUI. Okay, go to the highest point, flip our ship back around, turn the SAS on, make sure we're going down butt first before we get going too fast, which we are. Nope, not all the way around, please. Not all the way around, not all the way around. Let's pop that chute and get us going. Okay, now we'll probably hit the ground a little hard here. We might lose the service module. That's okay. Yeah, you need to be going about 6 meters per second. This might not be too bad. I'll turn off SAS. See, I'm crooked coming down. That's because SAS is trying to control us. If I turn that, we'll just hang over from the parachute. Now what you can do is, you notice if I pitch, I can change for an instant, I can slow my descent speed. So to try to save the module at the last minute, I'll try to pitch like that. There we go. Okay, so we're on the ground. I'm gonna roll. So I can, not, oh, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna roll. I want to be able to open the hatch. So now from the hatch, and yep, EVA. While I'm on EVA, I can do an EVA report. Once again, I'm going to take the data from the capsule and that's all the data science I can get at this point. So I'm going to go back in the cabin. But remember, I took the crew report out. So if I go back in, I should now be able to take a new crew report. And I can. So I can get a crew report from the shores. Take that, and now I can recover the ship. Okay, that's a nice 36 science to begin with. And 103 funds. So let's go into here and see what science we can get with that. We're going to get basic rocketry so that we can get the swivel engine and one fuel tank and another more powerful booster. So we'll grab that. 31 left. Go over here to engineering. And we'll grab this because that gets us a new science experiment, the thermometer. Shroud, this thing, a book, a wrench. The first antennas, the extendable and the non-extendable version of the Communitron. Is universal storage attitude control decoupler. It's a, I guess it is a part that's added by a mod because I don't recognize that as a default part. Same with this thing here. But we'll grab that for sure. Now we'll come down here to survivability and we'll grab that because this gets us our heat shields. So we'll grab that and it gets us the small landing gear. We already have the, oh, I guess I do have a mod on here called universal storage, so it's gonna pop some parts and I forgot to turn it off before I started the game, so we'll just ignore those are non-standard parts. But we do get our heat shield and a radial parachute and a barometer, another science instrument. So we'll grab that for sure for 15. What's that leave us with? 11. Don't have enough for that. Don't have enough for that. So we need to do another launch to try to get these guys. So let's go back out, go back to VAB. So we did launch a rocket. Let's do, let's see, what do we got active here? Okay, so we did both of these, completed, gathered science from Kerbin, and completed our launch, our first launch. So now let's just do an escape from Kerbin atmosphere. What kind of tests have we got here? Call this thing, test that, test a real shoot, test conduct the focus. Conduct focus. I avoid the conduct focuses because they want you to fly over a certain point at a certain altitude and a certain speed, and that really is difficult to do with rockets. It's easier to do when you can make airplanes, and why they have this early in your contracts, I'm not quite sure. I'm avoiding all of these tests because a lot of them are for tests for real shoot components that are not stock, and I don't want to do that. So we're just going to take escape the atmosphere. Okay, go back to VAB. Just get rid of that ship, create a new one. Ship, parachute, have some radial ones now that we don't have to worry about. Escape the atmosphere, so we can do that easily. Let's actually see it. What I have a decoupler now. I want a stock decoupler. That's a stock decoupler, so you would have this at this point. And we also should have a heat shield down here. Grab a heat shield, grab a decoupler. Okay, we got to escape the atmosphere. So we can do this with a single ship. I'm going to hold Alt, and I can duplicate that, and then Alt duplicate those two, and then Alt duplicate those four. And escape the atmosphere. Okay, grab an engine. We only have one, which is the swivel, which gimbals, which is good. And just to be sure, I don't have radial decouplers yet, so just to be sure I can get out of the atmosphere, I'm going to take 4 more of these, put them down there. That'll definitely get me out. To verify that, let's look here, thruster weight. We still have plenty of thruster weight. We need 3,400 delta V to actually make orbit. So this is enough to get us close to orbit, but not quite orbit. That'll be fine for now. In fact, that's a little bit overkill. Yeah, that's plenty. 3,000 delta V will definitely get us out of the atmosphere. So now let's get some science on here. Science. That's my dog scratching in the background. Let's put side, we'll get to it. We'll put a thermometer, put a barometer. We'll take these on the ground, and then we'll take a barometer, take those high in space, just for balance. These are parts that aren't stock, and for balance, we'll go 2-way, put 2 of these on. So we'll grab one, and once again, when we pass through 70 kilometers. Thinking. I think that's enough. Okay, don't need to name this because this is just going to be one ship. And just for some stability going up, if I turn on my center of gravity, that's where the ship's going to pivot around, and I turn on my center of lift, that's where the force wants to be to move the ship, which is above the center of gravity, which is very bad. It's like trying to throw a dart fins first. Or if we do a thought experiment here, if this ship starts to tip over to the right, well, any force that's pushing on this center of gravity is way up here. So if it starts going to the right, there's going to be more pressure on this left, so it's going to want to go more to the right. And the more to the right it goes, the more pressure is going to be here. And think of this as a lever arm, and it's going to keep pushing the ship over until it's backwards. It's like throwing a dart fins first. You don't want to spin around until the feathers are behind the center of gravity. So to fix that, that's what fins are for. So we'll take our basic fins as far back as I can put them. We'll put 4 as far back as I can put them. You see how that moves the center of lift behind the center of gravity? And this is something I always have to try to tell people in streams, but I don't like the back seat. But if I put these fins way up here, once again, I'm in that fins first. Fins before center of gravity, which is bad, and this is going to want to make the ship. That's why fins in front of the center of gravity are always a bad idea. So once again, as far back as I can put them. In fact, I can come over here and hit this, and I can grab these fins. I can even drag them down farther to get them as far back as possible. Okay, there's our ship. So turn off center of gravity and center of lift. And we'll go to the launch pad. Every time you collect science in the same biome, you get less and less. So we've already done a crew report here, but if I try to do another one, yes, I get nothing for the next crew report. If I EVA, I tried to do an EVA report. I've already gotten one here, so I don't get any science for these. But I've never done a barometer or a go up and down. As good as I'm going to get. If I try to get a temperature report, log temperature. It's a little bit of science, and I can log a barometer, pressure. Did that, and then I can actually EVA again. Now Jeb is a pilot, so he can't do some science things, but I can take the data from here, and I can take the data from here, and now when I go back in the capsule, I can take all the data from the capsule, and then when I go back in the capsule, I can now do a fresh crew report. I've already done a goo report from here, so if I try to observe the goo, I should see I get a little tiny bit of science, really not worth it. I'll try to get 2 reads from up higher, so just close that. It's okay, we're ready to launch. 3. Okay, first. Stability system with T, Z, throttle to full now that we have engines, and I didn't thrust limit, so I don't know what our TWR is going to be. It could be super high. Let's see. Will it let me close trajectories now? Yeah, it won't let me change trajectories because I don't have enough, I haven't upgraded my VAB high enough to close this, and they thought it would be smart not to put a close button on it, so once it's open, it's open. Okay, so we're ready to go. Full throttle. SAS is on. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going up. Now, I don't like my astronauts going into space on their sides, so what I'm going to do is make a 90-degree roll here. Alright. And once I'm going over 100 meters per second, which I am, I'll start slowly pitching over. And I'm getting atmospheric effects because I didn't thrust limit the ship. So this is just wasted energy pushing against the air right now. When you see these effects, this is just wasted energy. I'm going to click this bottom button, and it will tell me, right now my highest point is going to be 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 there. I'm going to make orbit now for sure, or not orbit. I will be outside of the atmosphere. I'll be in space. In fact, quite a ways in space. I'm going to tip way over here to burn more horizontal and less up. Okay. So let's grab one of these goos here. Observe the goo. A little bit of science. Let's grab a temperature. Full science. Grab a barometric. Full barometric. I'm now in space right now, so I'll come over to this goo pod. We'll grab a goo from space. There's a goo observation in space near Kerbin. Okay. We're gonna grab another temperature, and we're going to grab another goo. We're going to see if I can EVA. I'm not sure I can yet in space. No, I can't EVA yet in space. I've got to upgrade one of the buildings to be able to do that. Okay, we don't need this anymore, so we can get rid of it. Right, and then I can turn to my retrograde marker, which right now is right here. Right, there's some markers on the nav ball you need to know about. This one is the retrograde, which means I'm moving with my heat shield in the direction of my flight. If I go to the other one, which is up here, that's the prograde. So I'm still going up at this angle, and I can come out to the nav and you can see. Right? So this is my apoapsis. It's not shown yet because I've got to upgrade a building to be able to see those. But I'm going to climb up, and then suborbital I'm going to come right back down, way out over here. So ideally I want to come in with the heat shield first, so I want to be this way. Right? Retrograde. Come back out. You can see I'm now still going up, but I'm going up butt first. Butt first. See, and I can't take these again. I can't take any more of these, but I'm already in space. I'd need to get up to 250 meters, kilometers to be in high space over Kerbin. So there's no other science I can take up here anyway, aside from an EVA report, but I can't EVA yet. But this will get us some more science, and we can buy some more parts. I can then hit the greater than key to warp. See the upper right, I've got the little markers there. Okay. And I'm still going up. I'm over 250. So if I had the ability to EVA, I could take the science out of these, the temperature and the barometer, and I could take another report. I might be able to do a crew report up here, can I? Yes. So I got a crew report in high space. I can't take a second crew report. I could take another one in low space, but I'd have to EVA, take the data out of the capsule, and then go back into the capsule, and then I can take another EVA. But I can't do that right now because I can't EVA in space yet. So still going up, still going up. And now we're coming down. You can see up here, you can see our radar for when we're going up or when we're coming down. Okay, so I'm gonna point us down. And we'll start picking up heating here at 40,000. You see my parachute is red, means it's not safe to deploy. If I try to deploy it here, it could rip off. Right, so now it's still red. When this gets to 3,000 meters, that's about 10,000 feet. It's now safe to deploy, but rather than hang in the chute for a long time, I'll wait until I'm at 10,000 feet to deploy, so I don't have to hang in the parachute so long. Keep us pointing butt down. 4,000, that's close enough. Pop the chute. Now I can turn off my SAS now, and I'll just hang in the chute. Can I do a crew report here? I don't think I can. Yeah, I've already got a crew report, so I don't want to overwrite it. That's why you have to leave the capsule, take everything out of the capsule, and go back in the capsule so you can do a crew report again. So 6.9 meters per second is a safe descent speed, and if I feel that it's not, I can click on this and I can jettison the heat shield. You can't do this in KSP 2 right now, so I'm going to stop doing it in KSP 1. So get people ready to transition over to KSP 2. Now that I'm back on the surface, I can do an EVA. So doing the EVA, I'm going to take the data, so that gets that crew report out of the capsule and onto the pilot. I'm going to do an EVA report on the water. I'm going to take the science from this thermometer, and I'm going to take it from the barometer, and then I'm going to take a fresh temperature report. Oh, I can't do it while I'm outside the capsule. No, I got to take this data as well. So now I'll go back in the capsule. Put this back in. Can't take anything out of these goo pods because as a pilot I don't have the ability to reset them, so although I could take the data, I couldn't take another report, but I can reset these, which I just did by taking the data out. So now I can do another temperature report and another barometric report, and since I took the data, I can now do a fresh crew report. Now I can recover the capsule. And there we go. That's a handy bunch of science, 111. So now we can come back into the VAB here. We can definitely grab stability, so we get a nose cone for better aerodynamics, and we get a radial decoupler, so we definitely want that. Then we'll go up to here, and we'll get the Reliant, which is another atmospheric boost engine. It's more powerful than the swivel, but it doesn't gimbal, so there's going to be no control on the way up if you use it. And then we get another high power booster called the Thumper, and we get a fuel tank double the size of the one we currently have, so we definitely want to get that. Got 73 left, so let's go here. The bottom of the tree has got science and electrical stuff, so we want batteries, so we definitely want this. A little better antenna, but we don't need that yet. Another science experiment called Science Junior, so we'll grab this whole thing to get batteries in Science Junior. I got 28 left. Now I could go in this direction, but this gets into the 90s, so I can't get anything in this fifth tier. But let's see what we got up here. We got flight control. Gets us a bigger fin, which I don't really care so much about. Gets me a two-man pod, which is that's a part that's not stock. It's called the Corvus Command Pod, and it's to represent a Gemini two-man capsule. It's always nice. This is the fin. The Delta Deluxe is the rocket fin that I like to use for larger ships, but we don't need that yet. So let's go up into here into structural parts. This gets us a 2-man pod. It gets us struts. It gets us a 1.8 meter adapter. I don't think we have any 1.8 meter capsules yet. And we get up here. So what do we get in this bit up here? Oh shoot. Okay, I'm gonna have to change the mods that are in this because I wanted it to be stock, and apparently I have some non-stock engine parts here. This cryogenic engine is not stock. All of this is not stock. What does this really get us in terms of stock parts? It does get us this bigger tank, and it gets us the Terrier engine, which is a vacuum engine, which is very, very important. And it's unfortunately it's 45 points to get. We don't have 45 points. Shoot. Yeah, that's the one we would have liked to have gotten, but okay, we'll get it in the next one because the next contract is to make orbit. So this is all we can get in here right now. Come back over to this place. Control. We're going to grab orbit Kerbin, which is going to get us 4,800 Kerbucks and a little bit of science. Contracts aren't so much for getting science as getting money to upgrade the base. The science experiments you perform is what gets you a science so that you can get better parts. So we definitely want orbit Kerbin. And let's see if there's anything we can do in these. Okay, we're going to have a... This is a TD18 decoupler. Is that the radial decoupler? I gotta be between 200 and... So I'd have to go way out into deep space. I'm not going to bother with these yet. Well, we won't do that yet. So all we got is orbit Kerbin. So let's build a ship that can orbit Kerbin. That's our first step towards the theme of this stream is getting from the beginning to at least doing a flyby of the moon. So this is getting, the first step is getting to orbit. The other thing I'm going to do is I got 287 Delta V right now. To upgrade the tracking station, I shouldn't have clicked on it. Let's go back out. Yeah, okay, I got it. Let me out. Thank you. Okay. Where are we? Okay, we're coming up on 40 minutes and we're ready to get to orbit. So let's see. I'm gonna right click. I need 150 to get this to the next level, and what that gets us is orbits are visible on the map and max DSN power goes up to 2 gigameters. I'm thinking this is probably going to be 100. This is 50. So let's upgrade the tracking station, and we'll upgrade the launch pad. I could upgrade the perform EMAs. Yeah, we need to do this one. Enter. This allows us to EVA in space, and now since we're going to be in orbit, we can do an EVA over every biome low in space. So this allows us to get a lot more science in this one orbit that we're going to be making. So get that. Puts us low on funds, but I think we can get that. We'll get more funds as we complete this mission. So let's upgrade that. Okay. I upgraded the launch pad because that got us, we can put heavier ships on. Next upgrade is going to allow us to have unlimited weight. But the next upgrades we're going to be looking into is the VAB. So, right, upgrading the VAB. Also, what does upgrading mission control on the first upgrade give us? Yeah, this one's important to upgrade soon as well, because this gives us the ability to do flight planning. Okay. In fact, I probably should have done that before I did the tracking station, but it's early, we can fix it. So let's make a ship that can get to orbit. This is going to be a two-stage ship. One is going to be the payload, which is the capsule. We're going to start from scratch again. So we're going to start with capsule. First, we're going to put a parachute on it, just like before. We're going to give it a heat shield. Zoom in a little bit by holding shift and scroll button. Right, just the scroll button ship scrolls up and down. Put a decoupler on it. That's a stock decoupler. Give it a tank. Give it 2 of these. And we're going to give it engine. I could have sworn we got the Terrier. I could have sworn we did that. Don't save. I gotta go back to the... I could have swore I got the Terrier engine. Oh, I want to get the Terrier engine, but I ran out of points. I need 45 to get the Terrier engine. It's okay. We can still get to orbit. I can show you here. What we want is this right here. Oh, wait a minute. Where was the Terrier? I saw the Terrier. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. It had to be in here. There it is, right there. That's the Terrier. So we need 45 science for the Terrier. We'll get that in this mission. Back into here. Okay. So since we don't have the Terrier, we'll just have to live with a non-vacuum engine. We'll use the swivel so that we have control. There. So this stage has way more thruster weight than it really needs, but it's got 1,604 thrust, which should get us into orbit and deorbit us. So that's good enough. So now let's go to our science and see what we got here. We've got this guy. So that's new. Let's take this off. Let's take the heat shield off. Let's put him there. Let's put the heat shield below that. Let's put this guy here. So this is another science experiment we can run, and we'll wait until we're in orbit on it to get the maximum science for it. As far as I can recall, we've already done goo, but why not? We'll put 2 of these on. What's our thruster weight in this guy? Or what's our delta V? 1488, still good. Just in case, we'll do another. I think these are extra that I'm putting on here since we've already done science and space, but they're light, so we'll throw them on just for grins. And that's all of our science. That's all of our science. And Peace Among Worlds. That's the Rick motto. I'm going to throw one of these on here. This is just going to give us additional information from this Kerbal Engineering mod, so I don't have to always look down here and to the left. Everything I'll be looking at that this is giving is also shown by default down here if you pick the button that's farthest down. But it's hard for me to read that. I've got vision problems right now. I don't need 2 of those though. So left click that to take it to 1 and pull it off and stick it back on. There we go. All right, so that's our payload that we're going to put into orbit. Now to get this into orbit, we need 3,400 delta V in atmosphere. So I'm going to switch to atmosphere, and we're going to put a coupler on here for the boost stage, and then for our boost stage, we need 1, copy, 2, 4, copy, another 4 for a total of 8, and a swivel engine. Just from doing this a bazillion times, I already know how to do this. So once again, we're going to shift click and what? Oh, I'm hitting caps instead of shift. But shift click to pick the whole rocket up higher. Okay, and so you can see right now in atmosphere, I've only got 1,721 delta V in this lower stage down here, this guy. So I need more. So I'm going to need some of these parallel decouplers, at least a pair. Probably going to need 4. In fact, I already know I'm going to need 4. So let's go 4 away. Oop. And then onto those decouplers, I'm going to put 4 of these boosters called hammers. On top of those hammers, for better aerodynamics, I'm going to put some nose cones. Since the boosters are full throttle and not gimbalable, I'm going to put on just the basic fins, 4 of those. There we go, should be 4. There we are, 4 of those. I have snapping turned on right here. In the stock window, you'll just see a circle or a pentagram. When you see the pentagram or hexagram, it's in snapping mode, and when it's the circle, it's in non-snapping mode. Okay, so now let's see what we got. We got, we're gonna have 717 for 71 and 17. That's not 3,400. That's gonna be. It's only 2,500 delta V. What's going on here? I normally always get to orbit with this. How many parts have we got? Oh, Jesus, yeah. We're in trouble here. I kind of got science in the wrong order. We've got 41 parts, and we only have the ability to carry 30 into orbit. So this, we may not be able to get to orbit in this mission. At least with this up here. Let's see if we can reduce our weight a little bit. We'll get this on another flight. We'll get this on another flight. The thermometer and the barometer is nothing really heavy, so we'll do that. Okay. See, now we've got not much more. Call it 18 and 8, which is 26, so we're still shy of being able to make orbit. And we're still over by 8 parts. Okay, let's take this off. Let's go to 2-way. 2-way, and instead of that hammer, let's go with a pair of thumpers. They're heavier, more powerful. But 2 of those only get us another 100 meters, so we're still way short. Let's see what I got. I got 33 if I'm in vacuum. Oh, and we're something screwed up there as well. What's going on here? Okay, do this. Go to 2-way. Since I'm going to do a roll, I'll put these here. Make sure there's 2. That should be, well, I'll be a son of a gun. What is it? Okay, I'm going to take these off because they're getting in the way. They keep changing my symmetry every time I go over the top of them. That should be, there we go. It was these. When you pass over something that has a different symmetry, it changes the symmetry and then it screws things up. So now I'll go back to 4 and I'll put these back on. See, when I went over to the 2-way parts, it went back to 2, so I got to hit X twice again to get 4-way, and then just for grins, let's see, my CG is, my center of lift is above my CG again, which is bad. We'll leave those on. So the first thing is, I want to put the decouplers up towards the top of the booster, so when they decouple, it'll push them away from the top. So to do that, I'll come up here or press the 1 key, and now I can grab the booster and pull it down. Okay, then I want the bottom of the boosters to be just below the bottom of the core engine, so that when they do get pushed out, they get sucked down and behind. So to do that, I just grab the decoupler and pull the whole thing up like that. Okay, and it gets the CG a little bit lower, or the center of lift a little lower, but it's still slightly in front. As we burn off fuel, it'll move back, so we can fix it, or maybe putting bigger fins on. I've never really tried. I generally blast through this phase so quickly. Whoop, I can hit the 1 key to go back to here. This is the 2 key, by the way. I think I said 1. So let's do that, and let's pull these little fins off and see what little bigger fins give us. And I want 4-way, so X. And you see it doesn't really gain us much. It's the same, puts the center of lift in the same place. And I find these fins a little bit harder to control. So, well, I'll put them on. We'll see. It might help us keep us stable a little sooner than these guys. The purpose of fins on a ship is to basically keep it going straight up. And to do that, you want the center of lift to generally, as a general rule, to be behind the center of gravity, because that's where it pivots from. If this ship tips to the right, pressure is going to be put onto these fins, which is going to make it want to go to the left. Whereas if it's above the center of gravity, now if the ship pitches to the right, the pressure is going to be above the center of gravity, so it's going to want to push it more right. And that will give even more surface area, which will make it want to push right even more, and it'll want to go and flip over upside down. But we'll see. I can use some of the delta V up here, even though I don't have 3400 here. I have some delta V up here that I can use, and this might be able to make orbit for us, so let's find out. I'm going to dump this back here. We're going to make it more aerodynamic. We're going to put some that up there. Right now, it's got 198 delta V. I can put this into that stage, and I can put this into that stage. So now when they decouple, this engine will automatically fire. I've got 1.96, so I can thrust limit these a little bit more. Get closer to 1.33. Good enough. Turn these guys off. I don't think I've got launch clamps yet. No, I don't. Okay, this is a ship. We'll see if we can get this to orbit. Oh, wait. Oh, we're still 2 parts over. 2 parts too many. Oh, there we go. So, no science on you. No science for you. You off. Take you off. There we go. 28 parts. Oh, I did have enough to carry those, so let's go back to science. You. One way to you. And put you. Okay. This one we'll call orbit 1. Save it and launch. Oh, shoot. I bought that one thing and now I don't have enough funds. Oh my god. Okay, we can fix this. No, it's saved. Okay, I got an idea. A little sidetrack here. It's a little sidetrack. Let's go. Now. As you can tell, I haven't scripted any of this. We're just kind of doing flying off the cuff here. I shouldn't have upgraded one of these buildings a little too soon. And now we got to get more funds. I got to get 2,000 funds somehow. So what can I do that's easy that gets me 2,000 funds? That gets me 6,000. Oh, it gets me an advance of 6,000 funds if I promise to make a ship at some point that hauls a Corvus to Coupler, hauls a flea into flight above Kerbin. So I'll just promise that I will do this at some point in the future. I will get a $6,000 advance, $6,000 Kerbuk advance, and that'll allow me to launch that next ship. So let's just do that. And now I should have enough cash to build this ship. There we go. I have saved it. I can launch it now because I have enough money to build it. Now we just have to make sure we get to orbit. Okay, T for SAS, Z for full throttle. I usually do V to make sure the camera's in free mode, and then it's all good. Thrust limited it. Once I get to 25 meters per second, I'm going to make a roll to the right. Degrees. Nope, roll program complete. Pitch it. It's wanting to pitch the wrong way, so I'm trying to pitch down, fighting it, but until these run out of fuel, I'm pretty much at the mercy of those engines. So if this pitches over too much, we may have to relaunch. We'll see. Yeah, this is going to pitch over way too much. Fighting it, fighting it, fighting it, fighting it, fighting it, fighting it. And now I've pitched over so much that I even trying to go full up, I can't pitch up anymore. So we'll try it again. We'll revert to launch. Flight, revert to launch. Okay. This time, as soon as I launch, I'm going to start pitching over to the east to try to make sure we can get this thing going up to in an eastern direction, pitching over to the east more than the way it wants to go to the west. So A, T, V, V. And right away, we're going to start trying to go east. There we go. But I went way too far east. Way too far east, too much east. Revert flight. I'm going to take those big fins off because I don't like them. This is what they do. They really over-control the rocket. So take those off. Put these back on. What the hell? I flipped them somehow. Let's grab this again. As low as possible. And let's see, what can I do? I can't do anything to give me more. I the only thing I can do is to pull this engine down into here so that I have some vector control. That really changes my, from 1,000 plus that is 3,000. If I do this, goes 18 plus 1,200. That's about the same, and I can control the throttle here. So we'll try this. Save it. Ah, damn it. My mouse is sometimes jumps one ahead of where I think I am, and so I click to exit the VAB rather than go to Launchpad, so I won't have to go back in the VAB. Ay caramba. Ay caramba. It's all part of the plan. Let's try going to launch this time. Instead of full throttle, I'm just going to barely crack the throttle so that I at least have some control from that gimbaling in the swivel engine. T, Z, V. I'm going to bring that throttle back down to just a third of a throttle, a quarter of a throttle right in there. Okay. We'll do our roll. Roll complete. Start to pitch over just a little bit. See how that gimbal engine is giving me the ability to keep it at least going straight up. And pretty soon we'll have booster cutoff. Full throttle, get rid of the boosters, and start to pitch over to the east. You don't want to get too far in front of that prograde vector, because if I do that, I guess I didn't have those, I didn't put those fins on quite. Is that? No, it's pitching over right. Okay. So I can open it down here. You'll be able to see what your apoapsis and periapsis is. And when it's all the way up to 40, we need to be way down lower than I am. And this tells me the time it's going to take me to get to apoapsis. When that gets to about 50 seconds, I want to keep it there. At 50 kilometers, I should really be way down here at the horizon, so it kind of pitched over a little bit too slowly, but this should still hopefully work for us. So once I hit 70, I'm at least in space. But I'm trying to get this my airspeed up to orbital velocity, which is 2,300. I'm 1 minute away, so I can actually reduce my throttle right now to slow down how fast I'm pushing the AP away from me and get me more burn time in the horizontal. And as soon as I hit 80, I can cut the throttle. Now I'm in what's called the coast. And we definitely got enough to make orbit now because we're going 1,600. We just need another 1,000 when we get up to the AP, which we can see now. And if I had upgraded the control center, I could make a maneuver node here, but I can't do that, so I got to do this manually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I'm about 50 seconds away from the apoapsis, and I just heard dub-a-dub-a-doop, which means I might have science that's available to me. Where am I now? I do have science available to me because I can at least EVA. Take an EVA report. Go back into the capsule with the B. Take a crew report. EVA again, take that crew report out of the capsule with take data, then go back into the capsule, and now at some point I can take another crew report. So we got a little science at least. And we're still going up. Okay, as soon as we get, we're 20 seconds away, so let's start burning. Yeah, pass through the AP. If I pitch up, it'll start pushing it away again. X, I want to get closer to it. SAS turned off when I switched, so let's get back to SAS so I can point at the horizon. Kind of doing this manually, looking at the time to apoapsis up here. It says 54. Down here it says 47. So let's zoom out so we can see the whole orbit. And let's thrust up again. And just keep that AP in front of me. If it starts getting too far in front of me, I'll reduce my thrust. So the idea here is I want to push my orbit out. I don't want to raise it up anymore. So the farther you burn away from the AP, all you do is raise your AP. So by waiting until I get close to the AP, it just makes the sides go out more, which is what we want. So I'm already up to 88. I was originally shooting it at 80. But it's okay. Just make sure I stay on the horizon. Alright, if I'm below the horizon, it'll pull the AP to me. Okay, so just a little thrust and you can see it starts to push it away from me. If I pitch just a little below the horizon, oh, it's already come up on the side, so I'll pin that. And I'm at 70K over there and 95 here. So if I want to raise the orbit behind me and lower the orbit in front of me, I do something called burning radial in, right? So I'll point towards the ground like that. And that cyan symbol you see there's the radial in symbol. At some point you'll get controls over here to do that automatically. But to show you, see, I'm pointing in towards the planet. So if I'm pointing in towards the planet and I'm moving this way, it'll make this orbit go down. It'll have the effect of swiveling my whole orbit to the left. So watch what happens. See, the AP is coming down now. And when it gets to me, I can't change it anymore, but right there. That's as much as I can change it. But now I've got an 81 by 89 orbit, which is good enough for 80 to 80 orbit. So we've made orbit. We got plenty of fuel to deorbit, so we've made the get orbit contract. And now, since I can EVA, I can take EVA reports. I'm going to point the ship normal, and normal is, that's prograde, that's I'm pointed in the direction I'm moving. And if I come over here, that's anti-normal. If I point over here, these purple triangles are the normal triangles, and now you can see I'm moving this way, but my ship is pointing north. So it's perpendicular to my path of my orbit. That's what a normal burn does. And if I burn in this direction, right, I'm going to burn up while I'm moving to the right, it's going to take my whole orbit and want to make its inclination change. And it's the most expensive burn you can make. So it's not really efficient. You try not to do radial burns if you are normal burns if you can help it, but it also has some uses in docking, because as the ship goes around the orbit now, if I had a docking port at the top of my ship, it would always be pointing up. If I had a target ship, I would make its docking port point anti-normal, and its docking port would always be pointing south or down, and all I'd have to do is translate over and get my ship in front of its docking port and then thrust forward to dock. So normal is helpful in docking. Okay, so let's get to work doing some science here. So, unfortunately, I have a mod called Kerbal Engineering, and it tells me what biome I'm over. In stock KSP, I don't know any way of telling what biome you're over short of EVAing. It's fighting me here. I want to get in front of it. There we go. So if I EVA here, and I do an EVA report, while I'm out, I might as well take the data. And I'll do an EVA report, and it tells me that I'm in space just above the grasslands. So I can take this, and I can go back in the cabin with B, and it now stores that in the cabin. Since I took the data, let's see if I can do another crew report. I can. So I'll take that crew report. And then, once again, when you're on the light side, you can kind of see what biome you're over, but in the dark, it's a guess. So let's EVA again. Right, and let's take that data again, so it frees up crew report if we get to a different place. And let's click on him and do an EVA report. And it says now I'm over Kerbin's waters, so that's a new biome, so I can take another EVA and go back into the ship. Well, I've already taken one over the water, so it says if I go back in the ship, it'll discard this one, which is fine. So there's like 15 or 12 biomes or so over Kerbin, and in this swath of the orbit that we're going around Kerbin in, we can pick up probably 5 of them at least, but it's this kind of tedious thing of now EVAing, seeing if you're over a new biome. And now I'm in space over the water, which we know we've already got, so just don't bother with it and go back in the ship. And then when I'm on the dark side, what I tend to do is just hit the warp. Just warp forward randomly. Right? And see, I can kind of cheat because I know I'm over grasslands and I've already did grasslands, so I can warp again. Now I'm over highlands, which is new, and I can come over here and say EVA. I can say take EVA report. And now I'm over the highlands, which is a new biome. I can do that, and then board back in the capsule. Okay, I'm over the grasslands again, which I've already done. Grasslands, highlands. Sometimes these go by very fast, so you gotta be careful. It's easy to overshoot them. I do have another mod in here called down here, I'm getting to it. It's called Science Alert. And I can tell it to stop warping when I get over a biome that I haven't been over before. And so it automatically stops whenever I'm over a biome that I can take science in. So globally on. Warp settings. It should stop warp with this setting on right now, so let's make sure. Just pull this up here. Yeah, over highlands, we've already had highlands. We have the whole light side of the planet to go over yet. On here to map mode, you can see. See, we're in the middle of the dark side, so we got a whole other side to get in orbit to see if we get over someplace that we haven't seen before. So I'm going to warp forward a little bit here again. Islands, grasslands, badlands. There we go. So Can I get it before we get too far away? From the Badlands, okay. That's a hard one to get because you go over that so quickly. Sometimes you can't get out of the ship fast enough to grab it. So B. So I'm using this mod to kind of help me, and it's very much worth getting Kerbal Engineering Redux. I don't consider it a cheat. It gives me information that it should be stock in the game, personally. You should be able to tell what biome you're over at any point in time. Okay, Grasslands Island, Grasslands Island. Island, Grasslands. It's easier when you're over the light side because you can kind of see the biomes that you're over. You can tell when you're over the desert or when you're over mountains or when you're over grasslands or the shores or whatever. But in dark, you don't know. Flip out to map mode, so let's see. We're coming close to the Terminator. Shores, that's a new one. So EVA up here. A report. Oh, see, in the time it took me to get out, I'm over the grasslands now, so I've missed the opportunity. If I try to take it and go back in the ship now, it's going to tell me I've already got one. So, and we've already done one over the water, so there's no point in doing an EVA here. Okay, when we get over another body, this is all water, so I can warp now, because I know there's no biomes. Oh, no biomes. I'm gonna get over here. So it's telling me I'm over a biome now. Is that true? Over water. I could swear I've already done water before. Yeah. So I must be going over little tiny islands. By the time I EVA, I'm already past them. So. See, it's water, 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 water. So we'll make one orbit and get as many of these biomes as we can so we get more science and we get that down. So we can buy more parts. Get a little bit more money so I can try to upgrade that tracking station. Or not the tracking. So over the mountains now, that's a new biome, so I can take that on board. Okay. I can warp again. When we get to the middle of the dark side, we know we've made one orbit, so we'll say we've collected all the science we can. Okay, over new biome. Over the deserts now, that's a new biome, so we'll grab that on board. So I have the atmospheric mods in, so sometimes that makes the planet look beautiful and more natural, but it makes it impossible to see sometimes what you're flying over. Okay, got a new biome here, EVA. From the shores, that's a new biome, so we'll grab that. It's pretty close to all the biomes that we can get in this board. In this orbit. Nambra. that means. So I want num-nums. Go over continent again, over the highlands, and then we'll turn from highlands, you go to mountains, back to highlands, back to grasslands, back to shores, back to water, and we're back over into the dark side, and I don't think there's any more biomes we can get from here, so let's set up for our return. So once again, let's stop warping. Turn us retrograde. Okay, we're gonna get out here so I can see, find where. I'm gonna double click to focus Kerbin. This is that's the desert landing site. Where's Kerbin? Here's Kerbin right here, right? So I'm gonna warp to about here. And I can't because I don't have that mission control upgraded to give me the ability to flight plan. So I just have to manually warp until I get right around in here. Okay, so they're about 90 degrees away from where I'm going to get in there. So now I'm going to turn retrograde manually. A lot of this gets easier once you start getting your pilots upgraded and you start getting more controls over here. In fact, when I bring this pilot home from an orbital flight, he'll have retrograde and prograde control automatically, which is very handy. So I'm going to save here with an F5 just in case. And I'm going to burn full until I bring my height above the ground out into here somewhere, like right there. Stop, please. Okay, that was a little bit too far, so I'm going to turn around prograde. The atmosphere is going to slow me down, so it's going to pull me down, and I don't want to end up in here because there's mountains there, so I'd rather be farther away from the KSP and in water. So there we go. That should get me safely over the water. Okay. So now I know where I'm going to come down. I'm going to ditch this weight. I could keep it, but if you look, there's so little delta V left, there's not much it would do to help me slow down any. So we're going to dump it. And the reason we dump it normal is two reasons. One, we don't want it to bump back into us on the way down. And two, we don't want to change where we set that point that we're going to land in the water. And if I burn decouple while facing this way, that's going to apply a force as though I burn the engine in the opposite direction, and it's going to change where that touchdown point is. But the changing your inclination is so expensive, this will hardly change my anything. So let's get rid of that. And now let's turn retrograde. It's a bad way to get to retrograde, but it got us to retrograde. So now, see now we got our butt end going down. As soon as this goes below 70, I won't be able to time warp anymore, so I can time warp up to 70. I can do a crew report. See, this nice thing about this mod is it tells me things I can do. I can do a crew report. And I could technically do an EVA report. I'm still high enough where I can try that. For 7 points of science, maybe I won't. It would be a PR nightmare. And I can do a pressure scan though. And I don't think I can do a temperature, nothing, log temperature scan? No, nothing in temperature. So there we go. Now we'll just keep it pointing retrograde. I can warp at least 4 times. I just don't want to try to control pitch without going back to 1 times because it's way too sensitive now. Once I get to 30 kilometers, I'll be so deep in the atmosphere that I can actually turn off SAS. And the shape of the ship will automatically keep it facing tail first. And that's how much a blader I have, which is a ton. When this gets to about 1100 delta V, the heating will start to drop off. There we go. I turned SAS off now. It's now automatically keeping its back end facing retrograde. In fact, I should be able to work a little bit. 1300 meters per second, 1200, and at 1100 heating starts to come off. Okay, I can do a temperature scan in here. Okay. When this gets to 3,000, I'm at 10,000 feet approximately above the ground. I'll deploy my chute. I'm going to go to above ground level, just in case I'm not over water, but I'm over water, so I already know this is AGL and ASL. AGL. That's where I tend to always put it. Okay, 8,000. When I get to 3,000, I'll pop the chute. Actually warp to 3,000. Chute. Chute should open around 700 meters, I think, is the default. It's about 2,100 feet. Okey-dokey smoky. Let's see if we got some science that we can get. So let's EVA. Take all the data from the ship. Take the data from this. Take the data from that. Go back into the ship. Let's make sure I can't do a EVA report. I don't think so. I've already done one in the water biome, so that's okay. And I don't have the ability to do a surface sample yet, so we'll go back in the ship view. And we'll come out here and see, is there any science we can get from the temperature? Nope. And any science can we get from here? Nope. Can I do a crew report? Get anything? Nope. Okay, so we're ready to recover the ship. And with this, we should have enough science to get the Terrier engine, and that will allow us to make a ship to get all the way to the moon and do a flyby of the moon. And that was the whole purpose of this stream. So we will accomplish our objective. 137 science, which is good. Come over here. We definitely want that Terrier engine, which was down here. There, that's a vacuum engine, so we want that for sure. And then let's come down to here. Let's come down, actually. We already got the batteries, which is all we need. It would be nice to get panels, which I think is here. Or maybe it's here. Yeah, that's our first battery, but that would use up 90. What is it? Is it 90? Yeah, 90 points of all of our remaining science. So let's see if there's something here that would be better. That's a two-person ship and the better fins, but we can do without them. This is airplane parts. This is basically the only thing in here that's really valuable would be struts, but we don't have big enough ships to use struts yet. No, maybe this is the best move right here to get the single panel. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so that gets us our panel, so we can charge the batteries on the way to and from the moon. So we'll come out here, and this should have gotten us a lot more. Go back here. Let's go back out. Oh, so now we've got to explore the moon, which is make a ship to fly by the moon. It should be today's your lucky day. Simply head to the moon, pass by it, and return to Kerbin. So that's 64,000 cash. So that's good news, and I get a 22,000 advance. So that's how definitely we want to do that. We'll take some look at some of these again. Conduct. This is your scan set. This is for parts that I didn't take out before I started this, so that's not standard parts. Ferry a VIP safely to the destination and back. These I could get some extra points for, but we're gonna do this, like I said, the easy way, one step at a time. So now I have 171 Kerbucks. And if I upgrade this, I get flight planning, which allows me to create maneuver nodes. So we definitely want to get that. Okay. And we already upgraded this to get spacewalking. We're good. So we should be able to, we might have to upgrade the VAB because we're still limited to only 30 parts, but let's see what we can do. Once again, we'll start from scratch. Ship. Add a parachute. And go down here to science. We'll add this to see if we can handle it. That's a lot of weight. Come here and give ourselves. Oops. Okay, we're gonna go to thermal. We need a heat shield for sure. Coming back from the moon. There we go. We've got a heat shield coming back from the moon. Go out here to science, and let's see, we'll put a pair of these on. Deep space and over the moon, or by the moon. So we'll put 2 of those on. Okay, go this way. The temperature, once again, temperature in deep space and while we pass by the moon, so we'll want one on this side. One on this side. Pressure, same thing. Deep space and over the moon. Make sure I'm not blocking the hatch. All of these are non-stock parts. Got all the science on here we need. I need a coupler. A fuel tank. So got the double one now, so I'll take that fuel tank. We need an engine. And we'll use that Terrier, that's that vacuum engine. Right, now to get from Kerbin orbit to the moon, we need 860, we'll call it 900, To capture, we need 280, so we'll call that 300. So that's 1200 to get, and then that'll allow us to just fly right by the moon. And we'll need, like, if we were in orbit, we would need 300 to get back to be safe. So that's like 1500. So this is enough delta V from orbit to get all the way to the moon and back to Kerbin. So now, once again, like we did before, need a decoupler. And we'll go to tanks. Instead of 4 of these, we'll need 8 of these. So instead of 8 of these, we'll need 4 of these. So do that. Oops. And just to see, we'll do that. Once again, we'll go with the swivel. So we have pitch control. Shift to bring the whole ship up. Okay. Now we need, how are we doing? We're good on parts. 24 of 30. So let's take care of those. Take care of those like we did last time. In atmosphere, we're going to be below 30 something, but we'll steal some of the delta V up here to get to orbit. So that should be enough. So once again, we'll hit the 2 key, grab this, pull it down. Grab this, pull it up. Zoom out a little bit, take the whole thing, go back to the 1 key, take the whole thing, shift, click. Okay. Let's put some. Go. Checking the delta V. Okay. These 2 boosters are going to give us 1.88, which is a little bit more than we need, so we'll bring that back. Let's limit those to 133 is perfect, but 141 will do. Close enough. And then if we look at our CG and delta center of lift again, where did it put it? So way up where I can't see it. I don't see it. Where did it put it? No. Let's throw some fins on it. We'll see where it's put. Go with these. And 4 of them on. Very strange. We're looking at some kind of a bug because it's not showing me the center of lift. It has to be on here somewhere. So this is just a bug unless... Oh, there we go. It was so high without the fins, it wasn't showing up. And once again, we'll try to put these as low as possible. Move that CG down as far as we can. Okay. Turbos have super attachment technology, so you can just barely have the fins attached and they will stay on. That's my story. That's my story. Okay. I don't have launch gantries yet, so this is not what we get. I'll turn off this. And because of the fact that these don't have thrust anymore, I'm gonna pull the main engine down into there and use its gimbaling. And pull this into this stage so that the engine fires as soon as it decouples. So should get this upper stage into orbit with 2000 delta V. I might have to use some of this delta V, but I'll need only 900 to get to the moon, and 280 to capture, but I'm not going to capture. I'm just going to fly right by, and then 300 to get back to 900. I only need 1200, so I can afford to use 800 of this and still get back to Kirby. Okay. Last thing, I got to come up here and put some batteries on this, right? So we'll come down here. That's a new thing that we've got now is batteries. So I'll put a pair of these on. I'll put 4 of them on, why not? I'll put some panels on to charge those batteries. I'll put 4 of those. Okay, so this will hopefully give us power to get all the way out to the moon and all the way back. And now we've got everything. So we'll call this Moon 1. Okay, so this is the objective of the stream, to get from start of game to orbiting the moon. Okay, so just making one last check of things. Sounds good, looks good, save it. Launch. So I'm going to go in this case, I'm going to press U, which will turn on the lights. What's going on? Oh, wait. Derp, I'm an idiot. I said leave VAB rather than go to Launchpad, which is all right because I'm going to see if I've got, do I have lights yet? Yeah, I have some lights. So let's put some lights on. Let's put 4 lights on here. Okay. And let's make them white. Okay, and I could put more on, but do I really? Why not? Go back to 2-way and throw 2 on here. Make them white. Put it in the middle. Okay. Save that. Launch it. Ah! Vehicle assembly building can't support vessels over blah 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 blah. Okay, come back out. We might have to see if we have enough cash to upgrade the VAB. Have enough cash, please have enough cash. If not, we'll just go take some of those other things and get more advances. So I've got 96, and to upgrade this, I need, holy moly, I need 225, okay. Okay, how can I get another 150K? Take things that we know we can do in the future. So there's almost 10K, so we'll grab that. Test the real shoot. That's a non-stock part, so I won't pick that up. I don't get any advances for ferrying people. That's a stock part, and that gets me only 1800. Oh, there we go. Real shoot. I get 10K, so let's do that. We're still way short. So storage. These are, now I'm starting to get into things we don't have in stock, but it's not going to give me enough. I need 150,000. Okay, it's back to taking things off the ship again, I guess. So I got all this stuff up here I can take off. Let's see how many parts I'm over. I'm over by 18 parts. Yikes. So science has got to come off. 10 parts over. Science Junior's gotta go. Gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, 35. 5 more parts have to go. So we'll get rid of lights. Now 1 more part has to go. Instead of 4 batteries, we'll go with 2. There we go. 29 parts. Now we can get into space. Okay. I could put a thermometer on here and get some science, but this will be good enough. This will get us some science over as we pass by the moon. Yeah, I need 4 of those so that I can see. Yep, let's do this. Let's save it. 1 saved. Launch. So my thruster weight has definitely gone way up because I've taken off that Science Junior, and that's very heavy. My mic still working? Yes. Sometimes my USB mic goes off. See, here it would be nice I could turn lights on and make it easier to see, but can't do it. Don't have the science yet. Okay, so that, and then T to turn on that. Z, G, and then we'll come back on the throttle. I don't need it to be that high. Just need it to let me turn the ship. Okay. To space. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so the astronauts aren't going into space on their sides. I'm going to do a 90-degree roll program. Just like that. Now I can swing around this way. And I'm trying to pitch down, which is going to keep me from trying to go to the west. Till these solid core boosters burn out. Full throttle. Start to pitch over. When I'm at about 20 kilometers, I want to be pitched over to at least like 45 degrees, so I'm going to keep pitching over here. Once I'm at 45 degrees, I'm going to start looking at my time to apoapsis down here, and I want to keep that to about a minute away, 50 seconds away, something like that. So 20K, I want to be down here. Time to apoapsis is 40. When I'm at 30K, I want to be down a little lower. Around here, around 30. 42 seconds away, so it's staying about the same distance away, which is fine. Oh, let's get rid of that extra weight, shall we? Thanks. That wasted a little delta V, but it's okay. About 55 seconds away, so I'm going to reduce the throttle a little bit. And I'm going to pitch down some more. A minute away, and it's still climbing, so I'm going to reduce the throttle a little bit more. Keep pointing down. I'm at 50 kilometers now, so I'm going to pitch all the way down to the horizon. You see now I have prograde and retrograde from the last orbit. I'm going to look at my time again. Okay, that's coming down, so I can add a little more thrust. $60 kilometers. It's going up again, just time to apoapsis, so a little less throttle. And now I'm at the prograde, so I can just click the prograde marker here and it'll stay on prograde. And you see what's happening is I'm staying the same distance away from the apoapsis. I have to actually reduce the throttle a little more. But I'm increasing my velocity. When this gets to close to 2,400 meters per second, I'll be at orbital velocity. And then this apoapsis will start climbing very rapidly. It already is. When it hits 80. Okay, so I burned out that stage, so I went to stage. And when this hits 80, X, okay. So now what I'll do is I'll get to orbit with this stage, and I should have hopefully at least 1,200 delta V to get to the moon and back, pass by. We're going to do something called a free return, which is what the Apollos did. Instead of going around the moon counterclockwise, we're going to go around it counterclockwise. And that will allow us to go past the moon and then slingshot back to Kerbin without having to burn any extra delta V. But let's see what it takes to orbit here first. Okay, so now I can make a maneuver node, and I can pull this out. And when the AP and the PE swap sides, you should be close to circular. So there's 96 by 80. So I can come back a little bit here till they're there. And that's 79 by 80. So that's close to circular. So what I have to do is turn to the maneuver node. And that's a blue, take it out of prograde. And now turn to, I'm looking for a blue marker. The arrow points me toward it. If I go around, there it is. That's the maneuver node. If I make my burn at that node, this is my burn. So I can warp to it. Once I'm pointing at the maneuver node, I can click this, and I'm so close to it, I can't warp anymore. So we'll just let it get up there. I'm 11 seconds from, oh wait, I'm 23 seconds away from the burn. So when this gets to 0, I'll burn until this gets down to here. I'm pointing at the maneuver, so it should get me where I need to be. 7, 4, 3, 2, 1, burn. Okay, so it's swapped. I overburned a little bit, but that's okay. Let's see where we ended up. We ended up at 79 by 84. So I'm in orbit. That's good. And I have over 2,000 delta V left, which is enough to get to the moon and back. And let's see how we get to the moon. Let's pitch up, zoom out, focus the moon by right-clicking. By left-clicking and say set as target. Put it up at the 12 o'clock position. Zoom back in. This is the 9 o'clock or the 3 o'clock position. When I'm at the 4 o'clock position, I'll make a maneuver node there. And then I will burn prograde, and that will always get me an intercept with the moon. Right there, like that. So this is a form of a free return here. Because this will get me into the moon's sphere of influence and then allow me to come back out. But I want to get a little closer, so I'm going to keep burning. Right, and I'm going to go to the moon, and I'm going to focus it. Okay, so you can see I'm going to pass through the moon's influence going in a counterclockwise position, which is called prograde. We like to always do things counterclockwise. because that's the way everything orbits in the system. So I actually would like to put it on this side of the moon, and to do that, I can come pick this maneuver node, and I can keep pulling prograde until it gets to the moon and swaps to the other side. Whoop, whoop. It doesn't want to go to the other side with that, so I'm going to do a little radial inburn to push it onto this side. Then I'm going to take some of the prograde out. Okay, that actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete this. Right. And I'm going to do the same thing. Keep the moon at the 12 o'clock position. Ah, on it. I'm trying to focus Kerbin again, but I got all these other things that it's trying to get to. I can hit the tilde key and it'll refocus me in that focus here. So it's okay. Moon at 12 o'clock. Come here. 4 o'clock. Add maneuver node. Pull out. Once we're in orbit, we have lots of time to do this. So I'm going to grab this whole thing. It'll turn blue, highlight like that, and so now I can actually pivot it. Go forward some. Come up here. We're going to focus view. It's into a point and it wants to do that at 45. Okay, we're gonna, this is, I was trying to get it to do a retrograde pass by the moon, but this will be good enough. I just want that free return. Tilde to get back to the ship. 45, grab the maneuver node again. Swivel it, so it gets closer and closer. Now I can take a little delta V out. Focus the moon again. 60 kilometers is low orbit above the moon, so I want to do that as my pass by. So if I see, it gets to that point, and now it starts to want to go away. That's about as close as I can get it there. So let's focus the moon. Let's pin this height, so it's 900,000 kilometers. So let's pick this, and if I go prograde, it'll start pulling this in towards the moon. I just want to get it to below 60. And that's definitely below 60, so let's... Oop, too high again. There we go. That'll get us a flyby of the moon, and it'll cost us 852 delta V, so that's fine. And when I come out, I'm gonna fall back into Kerbin's SOI, but I'm gonna get flung out into space, so I'm gonna need to reduce this delta V a little bit when I'm in this sphere of influence, so that I don't go flying out of Kerbin's not SOI, but that'll get us close. So the first thing I want to do is switch to get to maneuver node. Warp to the point where I'm going to make the burn. Get back on that maneuver node. Later on, you'll get an option in your nav control to do this automatically, but until then, you got to do it yourself. Okay, I'm 40 seconds away from the burn, so I can do a little bit of a warp here. 5. Okay, so I'm 12 seconds away from the burn. Get back on that maneuver node. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm burning out towards the moon. Lots of delta V. Lots of electric charge. Those panels are charging my batteries. Staying on that maneuver node. Okay, it's wanting to get away from the maneuver node, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to pitch down. I'm a little colorblind, so I have trouble seeing that maneuver node, so I think it's right in there. And throttle up again. Okay. And when I overburned a little bit, so I can actually turn retrograde and burn back a little bit. I'm looking at it here. There we go. So now I'm going to pass by the moon. It's going to be quite high. So let's turn prograde again. See, now I pass by the moon, and when I exit, I'm going to fall back into Kerbin's sphere of influence in this yellow orbit. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to pass by high in Kerbin's orbit, in the moon's orbit, so I can still get science from there. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to close this. And that's where I'm going to fly by, 205, high above the moon. Okay, so I'm going to warp to here. And I've got that mod called Science Alert, and I just heard it bloop, so it means I can do something. I'm going to do an EVA report. EV in space, high in space over Kerbin, so we'll grab that. Get back in the ship. Might as well take the science out. Nothing to store, so board again with B. Let's see if I can do a crew report. Nope, already got one in space here. Okay, so I can once again try to warp to here. Okay, so now I got a couple things I can do here. I can do an EVA report. I can do... I didn't put anything on it. I could have put one thermometer or something, but anyway, I can once again take the data, go back in the ship. Now I can do a crew report. And then I'm going to do an EVA again. Take that crew report from the ship. Go back in the ship, and now I can do another crew report if one becomes available. But I don't know if there will be or not. We've completed the pass by the moon, and we've got a little bit of science. We would have been able to do more if I could have put more parts on the ship, but with the cash we're going to get from this mission, I'll be able to upgrade the VAB, and we'll be able to make bigger ships and put more science parts on it. And in the next mission, we can orbit the moon, and in the orbiting of the moon, we can collect EV reports over all of its biomes, and there's like 15. So if I go into a polar orbit, I can get all the science in low space above Kerbin, and that would be a couple hundred science. So let's go back out here. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to come by, pass by the moon, and then I'm going to come to here, and I'm going to exit the moon's SOI, and I'm going to fall back into this orbit around Minmus, or around Kerbin, and I just have to reduce my periapsis to 35 kilometers to deorbit. But I might have some more science in here, so let's warp. Actually, let's get some low science in here. So let's turn radial in. Turn radial in. Let's turn SATs on so I have control. So radial in is pointing. Okay, this black is the ground, so this should be radial in. To verify that, let's go back and make sure the ship is pointing in towards. No, it's pointing radial out. So yeah, I did that wrong direction. Black is sky, this is ground. I had to change the colors because I'm colorblind and I couldn't see. So now if I come out, I should be pointing inward towards the moon, and I am. So now we'll pin this by right-clicking it, and then make a very slow burn. You see it's coming down. When that gets to 60, I'll be able to get any science low over Kerbin. $90, $80, $70, $60. Think. Okay. So now I'm going to come fly through here, and when I exit, I'm going to end up in this orbit here. Okay. But as I pass by here now, I'll have some science I can get in low space over Kerbin, or over Minmus, I'm sorry. So let's warp to here. So you know, I'm going to exit way out here. I have no idea, so we're going to have to change this a little bit. Okay, so we got lots of Delta V. Delta V have I got? 700. Okay, that might be enough. Okay, let's warp a little bit. Okay, I'm in low space now, so now I can do a crew report. I I can EVA and do an EVA report. Take the data, click on his helmet, we'll do an EVA report. Right, so we're over the Midlands. Click that, we can get back in the ship. Right. We can do another EVA report. These are over a new biome. So we're over the Highlands, we'll grab that, we'll get back in the ship. We're looking at our delta V here, or at our altitude here. So we're over 60K again, so we're in, now we're in low space, so we might as well turn on SAS and turn retrograde. Okay, and we're going to reduce this a little bit. So we're going to hit Z, watching what's left of our fuel. See, we want to see this orbit coming in. Okay, that's good enough. So now when we exit the moon, we're going to fall back into this orbit, and when we fall back into this orbit, we'll burn retrograde again to get our periapsis below 3,500 so we can re-enter. So I can warp out to here now. That's why I have to click on the double arrows. Okay, once again, if I hit the tilde, I can zoom in on the ship. I can manually warp a little faster. Okay, now I'm in the blue orbit, which is the one that's going to now be orbiting Kerbin. And now I have to just turn retrograde. I'll pin this periapsis so it stays and I can see it by hitting the right clicking while I was hovering over it, and it dims. Okay, so I am pointing retrograde, so now if I make a burn, you'll see that starts to come down. And I want to get this to 35 kilometers. This way I can double click to zoom in on Kerbin so I can get in a little closer here and see what's going on. Okay, so I overcooked it a little bit. I'm down to 28, so I'll turn prograde. Just tap the throttle and push this till it's at 35. Oh my God, I kept clicking it and nothing was happening, and I was looking down to see why, and then all of a sudden I blasted past it. And I have very little fuel, so let's get this right next time. So we're retrograde, and this needs to be 35. Close enough. So now if I close this, I have no idea why it's showing me this other orbit here. I guess this is if I was to fly through and end up in a different orbit. Not sure what that's talking about. So let's warp to here. Let's do a save, F5. Let's warp to here. Zoom, zooms in real fast. Okay. Now, not enough delta V to do anything really significant, so we're going to turn normal. Oops, go to not retrograde anymore, and that's anti-normal. I always make the wrong choice first. Doesn't matter, I can decouple anti-normal too, I just tend to point to the north. Decouple, and then go back. Go back to retrograde. Do that on the nav control, so back to retro mode. And now we just ride back home. 35, it should deorbit us. Work forward to do that. Okay, I could do an EVA report, but for 7.2, I'm not going to worry about it. I want to switch to surface mode because it gives me either if I'm over water or land, it tells me how high I am off the surface. So once again, I can work. Okay, that's telling me my heat shield's heating up. I can rotate a little bit sometimes to slow that down. But I'm just burning away my ablator, and that's what that is showing me. Once I get to 1100, the heating will start to fall off. As long as I have a blader, I should be fine on my capsule heating. Meters per second. 17, 16, 15, 14. I'll fall off very quickly now. When it gets below 1100, the heating will start to come down. Okay. Looking for 3,000 meters above the surface, which is about 10,000 feet before I deploy my chute. I can do a crew report here. Since I EVA'd and took the data and put it back in, it gave me a free slot for another crew report. I can't do one now. If I tried one now, it'll tell me you've already got one. So overwrite. So I'd have to EVA, take the data, put it back in the capsule so I could do another one, but that would risk losing the pilot. I can turn the SAS off now and it will just fall naturally because of the aerodynamics of the ship. $1,000, 7,000. Well, really, 7,000. 6,000. Ew! Excuse me. 4,000. And 3,000. So we'll deploy our chute. It was great, so that's safe. See, we had max electricity all the way because of the panels. So we're down. It's telling me I don't have any science I can really collect from here. So what we'll do is just recover. That completes the contract to fly by the moon. You know, I think it did. I don't recall if it said I had to fly by at a certain altitude, either below 60,000 or over 60,000. We flew by over 60,000. No, we lowered it down to below, so we got both above and below. What, 137 more science, which is good, right? And now we have over 300,000, so we can increase, upgrade our VAB. That gets us over our part limit there. What do we have over here? This just gives us more capacity. Yeah, so there's no point in upgrading that. It's just more capacity. This gets to be very expensive, so it's over 500K. So we'll save this money, but we'll go to the Science Center and get some more stuff. Okay, so what stuff do we want? I really want to get the fuel lines because fuel lines allow us to do asparagus staging. But we can't get there yet because we have to, it says 90K, but you have to, I think we have to upgrade something to be able to select anything in this 90 region. I don't dare click on it right now because I don't want to get it. It's red, so I don't think I can. But let's see what we got in here first. Okay. Launch clamps are good. Struts are good. Let's see what's in here. These are just better fins. Better fins, airplane parts I don't care about right now. So yeah, let's get that. That's 45. Bloop. And I got 90, so I could come here and get fuel lines. That's good. Okay, so now we can do asparagus staging and we have launch clamps. And we've made it to getting around the moon. So the next phase will be landing on the moon, or actually what I'll make it is getting around Minmus, and then orbiting Minmus and orbiting the moon, and then gathering science over the biomes of the moon and Minmus to get us more science, and then we'll start doing landings. So with that, we've been going now for what, a little over 2.5 hours, or up close to 2.5 hours. So we will call this a stream. Thanks for watching. I hope it's been helpful for everybody. The idea of the stream is to learn about Delta V and what you need to get to orbit and what you need to get to the moon and back. How to build base ships to do that with minimum parts while upgrading using the career mode contracts. So with that, I'm going to say, everybody, stay safe and stay cool. And I'll see you in the next video.